last 8 years, that oaf who has no idea about leading people. And the second place is the dollar bill, which we have made our God. And really, we found out that it's not even a demigod. And so these are our weaknesses, and I'm talking about the Republican White House and the almighty dollar. We have made them our crutches. These are the things we've been leaning on for the last 8 years. We've been relying on. And that's why we look like the walking wounded and the crippled to the rest of the world. Well, you know what we got to do starting tomorrow is we have to break these crutches. Some kind of reprobation for these guys. I remember when I was in school, I went to a Catholic school when I was a young man, and the nuns, and they told us about these people. And I'm not sure who they were, whether they were martyrs or saints or just obsessed people. What they did was they wore hair shirts. Have you ever heard of those things? You have hair shirts. They wore hair shirts, and the idea was that they would punish themselves by wearing them because they're made out of animal hair. You wear them 24 hours a day, they itch like hell. and they remind you that you were a sinner, and now you're paying for it. You don't get a chance to not think about that when you got one of those hair shirts on. So I'd love to see Bush and Cheney and Rove and all those guys walking through Washington with hair skirts. I got a hair skirt for them to wear, and a nice kind of insecticide-laden brass shawl. That's what I want to see them wearing. Just to kind of show them that we know that they're sinners and they've gone unpunished. Now here's another guy I want to give the hair skirt to, Father Elvis Alano. You may have read about him. He's a candidate for this. It was in the Post last Thursday. Let us pray. He was a Catholic priest. He is a Catholic priest at the Our Lady of the Snows, although it's not the color Our Lady of the Snow job. Okay. This guy here seduced this woman in the confessional. How's that? And then the writer said, "Tell me your sins, now let's commit some." This guy. I mean, he said when she came into the confessional, it was like being struck by a thunderbolt. And he told her, "Oh, our God has ordained our relationship. Oh, I just ordered $113 of Viagra on the internet. We're set." You know, like this. And she was trying to divorce her husband in an abusive situation like that. She goes to confession, and this guy, Elvis, I mean, how many priests do you know named Elvis? The Church of the Holy Rock and Roll or something like that. But this is the guy, and I'd like to give him a hair skirt. And just say a little something about it. He's kind of, in a way, he's bringing down the name of Elvis as far as I'm concerned. Because you can see them in going into church, and she's getting into confession, he says, "Oh, that's a very good confession you've made. Here's your penance. Say 3 Our Fathers, 3 Hail Marys, and 6 inches of Father Elvis." That's it. Baby, that's your penance. Can you imagine this poor woman? She's in a tough situation. She needs a little solace. She needs some understanding. She's going to go to church on Saturday. She can go to communion on Sunday with her friends. She goes and she lights a candle. And she says, "Jesus, come on, what am I going to do?" And she's got her penance and hat on. devil likes to inhabit the holy guys. So those holy guys are hypocrites. Like you get in there with those holy guys, you saw what happened to me? I am there, yes I am. And I've been there since time began. I was in the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve. That's right. And you think that was an apple tree? You think that was the tree of knowledge? That was the tree of nookie. That's right. And I got these two together, boy. I got them together really, really good. That started the whole thing. Don't let anybody else tell you anything else. Now, the devil is still after it, I'll tell you that. And this is one of the devil's girlfriends. You know, the devil kind of likes those farm girls who wear those dungarees. A lot of heft, a lot of gravitas. Yeah. And so I can just see Father Elvis there. You know, hey honey, how would you like to make love with the devil? You know, when ordinary men, get excited, their penises get bigger. The devil, his lips get bigger. And that ain't all either. His tongue gets bigger. That's right. Oh yeah. I mean, let's face it. The lips are always the on-ramp to the expressway of love. Am I right, honey? Is this my sweetheart over here? Yes, it is. Let me see if I can do this just like I'm sure our friend did it too. Good. All right. Ooh. Ooh, I tell you, yes, that's it. Oh, boy. You've been devilized. Elvis, look out. Now, all you people out here today that are thinking to yourself, just the women, boy, that might not be so bad. Well, here's a little memento for your time with the devil. I got a little I love you bear from the, there you go, you get one, of course you do. This is a memento. Go ahead, put it next to where you sleep at night, and then it'll just remind you that devil's out there and he's looking for a new girlfriend right now. All right. Now, the future's coming. There's no question about it. And tomorrow is the first day of our future, and it's a very, very important day in our history and our future. And I would love to be able to see the future. I would love to be a fortune teller so that I could see what was going to happen, and know what was going to happen. I know it's going to be an incredible, important day for us. We are really at a crossroads. And you know, I went to a fortune teller once when I was in Paris, France, in the 70s. I had a beard back then, and I went to this fortune teller because my girlfriend at the time, she lived there, and she said, I want you to go see this woman. She's really good. She's Russian. She's French. And she's going to tell you a fortune, you know. I think her name was Madame Bazooms. And she said, okay, all right now. And she had a scepter. She had a scepter instead of a crystal ball. And she looked into the scepter. She put the scepter in front of my face. I looked at the scepter, and then she said, okay, what do we see? I mean, it wasn't a question to the scepter. The scepter, like, talk to her, you know, like a language that the two of them could understand. But I couldn't even hear it. And then she had a cat. And the cat sat right on her lap. You know, kind of looked menacing towards me, but that's where the cat was. And so she said, well, she put this right in front of my face, and she said, okay, what do we see? You know, like that. Said, we see royalty. Oh, yes. You were royalty at some time in a past life. In fact, you probably were a king. And I went, ha 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 ha! Hit me over the head with a scepter. Don't be an ass, she said. I said, well, you know, I don't know. She said, yes, there was a time when you were in the upper, elite, higher, upper classes. And I said, oh. She says, but now what you're doing is you're hanging out with the lower classes in this life. I said, is that supposed to be some kind of insult to my friends or something? And I got hit me again. I decided to shut up. She says, okay, but you know, in your next life, you're going to be in the middle class. Thank you so much. I made it in the middle class. And then she said, and I said, well, did you do anything about this life? Or anything good going to happen in this life? Well, I'll tell you, she said, you won't have to worry worry about money. You won't have to worry about possessions or power or position or anything like that, because these things you won't get. You won't even get a nice car or nothing like that. So you won't have those possessions to drag you down. I said, gee, thanks a lot. And he went to, and the scepter was just about to hit me again in the head. And darn, if I ducked, perfectly ducked, and then everybody laughed, including the cat. They all laughed at my ass. Oh, yeah. I thought to myself, tonight, you know, being a fortune teller would be a pretty good job. Because right now, there's a lot of unsureness. There's a lot of questions people are asking. I mean, being a fortune teller, having some idea what was going to go on, well, maybe I could be a fortune teller. I could tell how things were going, you know. I think I could do that. I mean, it's more, I can get a costume on. I look kind of like a fortune teller, don't you think? And you know, I don't want a scepter. I'm not going to have any scepter or nothing like that, but I've got some things here. These are magical. These are I'll show you how they work in a minute. These are my time accelerators. That's right. I do like this, see? And what it does is it stirs up the molecules around me real fast. And that means I'm going faster into the future right now. I am in the future right now. I can see what's going to happen. I can see what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. Yes, indeed. The first thing I'm going to tell you is the near future. Tomorrow, we're going to elect a new president. Hope is on the horizon. The new president. Yes. The second thing is also kind of in the near future is because everybody kind of believes, well, this change is a good idea and something good's going to happen. We're going to have a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to try and go a little farther into the future. I'm going to go into 2012, 4 years from tonight. Exactly. 4 years from tonight, and I'm going to tell you there's going to be another election tomorrow in 2012, and Obama will be running for his second time, but the Democrat, the Republican candidate is going to be Sarah Palin. I predict. Now, don't you think in the next 4 years, she's going to do a lot of work. She's going to make a lot of friends. She's going to make a lot of speeches. She's going to raise a lot of money. She's going to get her blocks in order. She's going to be the candidate. She's going to get Karl Rove to run that campaign. That campaign is going to snowball. That campaign is going to be a subliminal campaign. It's going to be kind of sexual mind control. That's what it's going to be. They've got it all figured out. You don't think they can do it now, but they'll be able to do it then. And the sexual mind control, they're going to be able to make all the heterosexual men and some gay women want to sleep with and the mind control fantasy will be this. They'll implant this fantasy that when you vote, the fantasy will come to you, and the fantasy will be, she's going to win the White House, she's going to be there, she's going to invite me to go to bed with her in the Lincoln bed. Everybody's going to think it. Oh, I like all those people that want to think it. And like I said, the heterosexual men and some gay women maybe, and she's going to lead a real cool campaign. She's not going to make any, devious remarks. There's going to be a lot of simple slogans, a lot of little homilies, things like that. She's going to say, well, my mama told me once. She said, my mom told me, if they give you lemons, make a hat. and then what's going to happen is these guys are going to get in the voting booth, and they're going to hear her voice, and her voice is going to say, hi there, sweetie. Yes, we are in the Lincoln bedroom. And yes, we are going to get into that bed. And yes, I am going to take off all my clothes. That's right. And I promise you, I will not turn off the light.
Amen.